As well as being famous for vodka, Red Square and Dostoevsky, Russia is also known for being the world's largest exporter of natural gas. As a result, every energy company needs an office. Located in St. Petersburg, this office happens to be the biggest skyscraper in Europe. An effective piece of architecture must carry a certain degree of elegance as well as high quality. The good design, form and function tend to be a great indicator of good architecture. The Lakhta Tower in St. Petersburg delivers on all of the above. Nestled on the Gulf of Finland on the west coast of St. Petersburg, the Lakhta Center Skyscraper, being 462.7 meters high, currently boasts itself as being the tallest skyscraper in Europe. And as of today, it is currently the 16th tallest building in the world. Construction began on the 30th of October 2012 and finished with a topping out ceremony on the 29th of January 2018. The project also holds the Guinness World Record for the longest continuous concrete pour of 19,624 cubic meters. This was over a period of 49 hours. The total project took 65 million man-hours, employing 20,000 people from 18 different countries, and was completed with 0 death. The skyscraper has a total of 90 floors, with 87 being above ground and 3 being underground. 16,500 curved panels of glass were installed, each with their own shutter system. And with the unique design of the glass came the ability for the whole building to change its colour depending on the positioning of the sun. The core of the building is a solid circular shape all the way through the design. A pentagon-shaped tower is then surrounded by a facade. The facade is then attached to the tower on the outside and continues to change shape as you move up the building in a spiral pattern. Due to the extreme winter conditions in St. Petersburg, snow and ice tests were performed in order to design the building so that the falling ice and snow can be safely caught at not just the bottom of the tower, but also there is guttering fitted with integrated heating at every spire. Not only post-construction is temperature a factor, but during the construction of the steel core, the columns, manufactured in Italy, shrank by 1 mm after being transported to Russia. Over 400 meters, this equates to a lot of shrinkage, but all of this was taken into account during the pre-construction and monitored by surveyors throughout. For the concrete flooring, C80 and B80 concrete was selected for its specifically reinforced cylindrical strength. And this was the first time this concrete had been used in Russia. The tower foundation itself sits on 264 piles. The piles within the tower footprint are 65 meters long and 55 meters long outside of the footprint. The tower is also fitted with ventilation buffer zones which open and close to allow for natural ventilation throughout the building. There are 8 vents per buffer zone which are all power controlled. Dozens of surveyors were involved in the creation of the tower. The surveying and structural health was monitored using strain gauges which were placed at levels both above and below the 4 sets of outriggers. The outriggers were fixed at elevations at each quarter of the total tower height. There are more than 3,000 strain gauges in total contained in the tower. There are also a total of 17 accelerometers at the base and at all of the outrigger levels to measure frequency, amplitude and spectrum of vibration. The verticality of any skyscraper is always dependent on tower stability. The most accurate piece of equipment used by surveyors on the project was the optical precision plummet FGL100. The vertical laser has only 1 mm of error per every 100 meters in height, and Leica laser scanners were used at each level to monitor structural deviations. In addition to this, there were also a total of 26 tilt meters to ensure verticality of the building during the construction phase. The tilt meters can also measure the tendency of a building to move forwards or backwards. Tilt meters are also fitted with temperature gauges for more accurate readings. There is a weather station at the summit of the spire which is also fitted with a GNSS, as well as a deep benchmark under the base of the tower. The building is currently the headquarters for the multinational energy corporation Gazprom. Gazprom primarily produced natural gas delivering to 25 European countries. And with a total project cost of $1.77 billion, the project was even more expensive than the world's tallest Burj Khalifa. And the Russian giant Gazprom is now in the stages of planning a Lakhta Center 2, which will become the world's second tallest building. The proposed Lakhta 2 will be a staggering 703 meters high. This is after the year 1703, in which Peter the Great founded St. Petersburg.